I accidentally discovered my husband and his mistress were spending a fortune on luxury trips. I felt the betrayal tear my soul apart, but I took a deep breath and kept my composure. What they didn't know was that in 3 days, everything would change, because I had already moved every dollar. Amelia's fingers pause over the keyboard. On the screen, an unread email glows like an open wound. Reservation confirmation. Presidential suite, Street Regis. Guests, 2. Dates, October 18 to 21. Her heart beats once, twice, then nothing. Robert was in Chicago those dates. She whispers to the empty air of her office, visiting his sick mother. She clicks. The email expands. 2 adults. King bed. Ocean view. $7,500 for 3 nights. Her hands tremble. She opens the online banking portal. It's a shared laptop. Robert's session is still active. Amelia never checks the corporate accounts without telling him. Today, something in her chest screamed at her to look. The screen loads. A credit card she doesn't recognize. $25,000 in 1 month. No, no, no. She clicks on each transaction. Her lungs forget how to breathe. Cartier, Femme, 200, 2 bracelets. Nobu Malibu 3, 800. Dinner for 2. Delta 1, 14 2 first-class tickets to the Amalfi Coast. I've never been to the Amalfi Coast. Her voice sounds broken, alien. She traces the card number. 3 clicks. 4. The page loads with cruel slowness. Cardholder, Natalie Vance. The air leaves her lungs as if she's been punched. Natalie, the financial advisor, the woman she herself had hired 14 months ago, the one who sits at her dining table every Friday, reviewing investments with a professional smile and calculating eyes. Amelia searches the browser history with fingers that no longer obey her. She finds a hidden folder. Special projects. She clicks. The first photo shatters her. Robert and Natalie, embracing in front of the Caribbean Sea, the golden light of sunset. He's smiling in a way he never smiles with Amelia. His right hand rests on Natalie's waist. On his left hand, his wedding band gleams. Amelia clicks to the next photo, and the next, and the next, the Hamptons, Aspen, Street Barts. In every image, Robert with another woman in places Amelia paid for. How much? Her voice trembles. She opens the full history of the card. 14 months. Since the first month, Natalie started working for her. $250,000. In 14 months, $250,000. She repeats the number once, then again, as if repeating it could make it make sense. Her eyes find a video file. 43 seconds. She shouldn't click, she knows it. She clicks. The image takes an eternity to load. When it appears, Amelia wishes she were blind. Robert and Natalie in a hotel bed, wrinkled white sheets. He's laughing. That laugh Amelia thought she knew. Can you imagine when we have all this without having to hide? Robert says in the video. Natalie snuggles against his chest. When do you think she'll sign that power of attorney? Soon. I've got her convinced we need to professionalize the family finances. Robert makes air quotes with his fingers. 3 more years and this is ours. Natalie laughs. Poor Amelia. So busy building her empire, she doesn't notice her husband is building a parallel one with her money. The two of them laugh and laugh and laugh. The video stops. Amelia runs to her office bathroom. She vomits until only dry heaves remain. Her body trembles against the cold marble floor. 7 years. She cries with the door locked. 15 minutes that feel like 15 years. Her reflection in the mirror is a stranger red eyes, smeared mascara, disheveled hair. She doesn't wash her face. The cold water burns like fire. I will not fall apart. She retouches her makeup with hands that tremble but obey. She fixes her hair. She looks at herself one more time. First, protect yourself. Her grandmother's words, spoken 15 years ago when her first business failed. Crying is for later, my child. First, protect yourself. Amelia returns to her desk, opens her planner, finds 3 numbers. She dials the first. Stephen, it's Amelia. I need to see you now, in your office. It's urgent, and it's confidential. Her voice sounds firm, professional, as if she hadn't just vomited her soul. She dials the second number. "Laura, prepare expedited divorce papers. I'll explain when I get there. 1 hour." She dials the third number. "Frank Pacheco. Private investigations. I need full surveillance, digital forensics, evidence admissible in court. I have 14 months of fraud to document. When can you start?" "Perfect. Now." She hangs up, saves screenshots, downloads files, copies everything to 3 different USB drives. Her phone buzzes. "Robert. Love. Leaving the gym in 20. Dinner together?" Amelia stares at the message. Her fingers float over the keyboard. She replies, "Of course, my love. I'll wait for you at home. I love you." She sends the message, locks the phone. She looks at her hands. They are no longer shaking. In 3 days, she whispers to the empty office. Every dollar they have will be out of his reach. Every account frozen, every door closed. She grabs her purse, shuts down the laptop, and walks toward the elevator. In the reflection of the metal doors, a different woman looks back at her. Not the naive wife from an hour ago. Something new. Something more dangerous. The elevator doors close. Amelia smiles. It's not a happy smile. It's a promise. Robert comes home that night with flowers and that smile that used to melt her heart. Now Amelia only sees a thief perfecting his act. "How was your day, my love?" he asks, kissing her forehead. Amelia answers with a calm voice. "Productive. Very productive." That night, as Robert sleeps beside her, Amelia stares at the ceiling and counts the hours left. 72. In 72 hours, Robert Miller's world will cease to exist. Stephen Quinn's office smells of old coffee and paper. Amelia walks in without knocking. Laura Navarro arrives 30 seconds later. Frank Pacheco follows her with a laptop under his arm. "Sit down," Amelia says. There are no greetings and no questions. Amelia connects a USB drive to the projector. The first image fills the wall. The bank statement. 14 months. $250,000 in visible expenses. Stephen turns pale. He takes off his glasses, cleans them, puts them back on as if that could change the numbers. "Amelia, this is wait." Amelia clicks. The next image shows international wire transfers. An additional $450,000 moved to an account in the Cayman Islands. In Robert's mother's name, but operated by him. Laura drops her pen. $700,000 in 14 months, Amelia completes. "Since I hired Natalie Vance as my financial advisor," Frank takes notes in silence, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "Is Natalie a co-conspirator?" asks Stephen. Amelia projects the photos. The Hamptons, Aspen, Street Barts. In each one, Robert and Natalie look like a couple on an eternal honeymoon. She's not just his mistress, she's the architect of the theft. Laura stands up, walks to the screen, touches the image with a trembling finger. "Amelia, this isn't infidelity. This is systematic fraud. I know, we can press criminal charges. Embezzlement, breach of fiduciary duty, criminal conspiracy." Laura lists each crime on different fingers. He could face between 8 and 15 years in prison. How long does a criminal trial take? Laura sighs. 3 years, maybe 4. No. Amelia shakes her head, once, firmly. "I'm not waiting 4 years for him to pay. I want him to suffer now." Stephen clears his throat. "I need to review the entire structure of your assets. Understand what Robert can legally touch, and what he can't." He spends the next 2 hours analyzing every account, every property, every investment. Amelia watches as her accountant turns her life into spreadsheets. "Good news," Stephen finally says. "The main corporate accounts are under your company's name. Robert has access as an authorized spouse, but he isn't the primary owner. Can I revoke it?" "Yes," with a notarized letter. Stephen does more calculations. "The properties are in your name. You bought them before the marriage. And the joint accounts? You're the primary holder. You can legally empty them." Amelia feels the first wave of relief in 6 hours. How much time do you need to move everything out of his reach? Stephen takes off his glasses again. Amelia, it's not 72 hours. I need at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. The relief dies. Why so long? Creating legal offshore structures takes time. Banks have protocols. I need to file paperwork, justify large movements, pass compliance. Stephen unfolds a calendar. 2 weeks to move $18 million to new subsidiaries without raising red flags. 3 weeks to be completely shielded. Robert and Natalie are planning a trip to Miami this Friday, Amelia says. 5 days, all inclusive. They already booked it on my corporate card. Frank looks up from his laptop. You want me to cancel the card before the trip? Amelia smiles. There's no humor in it. No, let them go. Let them get to the hotel, and then cancel it. I want them to feel the public humiliation when their card is declined in front of everyone. That's in 4 days, Laura calculates. It doesn't give you time for the full financial shielding. I know. Amelia leans back in her chair. Then we start now. Stephen, move what you can before Friday. We'll move the rest while they're on their trip. I need your signature on 23 different documents, Stephen says. Bring them. Laura opens her briefcase, pulls out a thick folder. I need you to review the divorce petition. 93 pages. With the grounds we have, I can argue for an inequitable distribution of assets. What does that mean? It means Robert gets nothing. $0, 0 properties, just his personal belongings. Amelia takes the folder, reads the first page. Fault-based divorce, adultery and misappropriation of marital assets proven. The words are cold, legal, failing to capture the pain of 7 years turned into a lie. When do we file? Amelia asks. In 3 weeks, when all your assets are protected. Laura points to a section. I also prepared a criminal complaint against Natalie. Conspiracy, fraud, illicit enrichment. Frank interrupts. I found something else. He turns his laptop. On the screen is a LinkedIn profile. Natalie Vance, economist, Wharton graduate, summa cum laude, 7 years of experience. Frank scrolls. She worked at 3 legitimate firms, good references, average salary of $90,000 a year. So, asks Amelia, why does a successful economist become a criminal? Frank opens another window. I dug deeper. 3 years ago, a client at the firm where she worked stole $150,000 in commissions from her. She was blamed, fired, and sued. She was blacklisted, Laura says, and left with $50,000 in legal debt. Frank closes the laptop. Natalie isn't just ambitious, she's desperate. Amelia absorbs the information. For a second, she almost feels pity. Almost. I don't care why she did it. I care that she pays. The next 3 hours are a bureaucratic marathon. Amelia signs documents until her hand cramps. She authorizes transfers, revokes powers of attorney, changes passwords. At 9 p.m., Stephen rubs his eyes. It's done. Well, started. Tomorrow I initiate the international transfers. I need 2.5 weeks to complete everything. Robert will be home in 2 hours, Amelia says. I have to go. Laura takes her arm. Amelia, these next 3 weeks are going to be the hardest of your life. You have to act normal. Have breakfast with him, kiss him, talk about the future. You can't raise suspicion. I know, if he finds out before we shield everything, he can move money, he can hide assets, he can run. I know. Amelia gathers her things. At the door, she turns. Robert planned this for 14 months, pretending to love me, pretending to be my husband. If he could act for 14 months, I can act for 3 weeks. She leaves before anyone sees the tears. Amelia gets home 20 minutes before Robert. She prepares dinner, lights candles, pours wine. When Robert walks in, he smells of the gym and a perfume that isn't hers. What are we celebrating? He asks, kissing her. Nothing. I just wanted a quiet night with you. They sit down to dinner. Robert talks about traffic, the gym, how tired he is. Amelia nods, smiles, asks for details. It's all a lie. Every word, every gesture. How was your day? Robert asks. Productive. I closed a big contract with a department store chain. My successful wife, Robert raises his glass. To you. Amelia clinks her glass against his. The wine tastes like poison. That night, they get into bed. Robert falls asleep in 5 minutes, snoring softly. His arm wraps around Amelia's waist as it has for 7 years. She stares at the ceiling, counting the cracks. 23. Her phone vibrates on the nightstand. A text from Frank. Installed monitoring software on his devices. Everything he types, I see. Everything he searches, I know. Amelia replies, thanks. Seconds later, another notification. This time, a screenshot of a text between Robert and Natalie. Robert, Amelia's being weird. Overly affectionate all of a sudden. Think she suspects anything? Natalie, impossible. She's too naive. Stick to the plan. In 3 months, she'll sign the offshore powers, and we'll be free. Amelia reads the message 3 times. Her hands grip the phone until her knuckles turn white. Robert stirs in his sleep, murmurs something. It sounds like I love you. Amelia doesn't know if he's talking in his sleep or dreaming of Natalie. It doesn't matter anymore. She gets up silently, goes to the bathroom, looks at herself in the mirror. 3 weeks, she whispers. Just 3 more weeks. She gets back into bed. Robert is still sleeping. Innocent, peaceful. He doesn't know that the woman beside him is no longer his wife. She is his destruction, waiting for the perfect moment to awaken. 3 weeks. 21 days of pretending, 504 hours playing the role of the loving wife. Amelia marks each day on a calendar hidden in her office. She crosses off day 21 in red ink. Today, Robert is flying to Miami with Natalie. Are you sure you don't mind me going on this meditation retreat? Robert asks that morning, packing his suitcase. Amelia folds a shirt he won't need. Of course not, my love. It's good for you to disconnect. It's just a long weekend. 5 days. I know. Robert kisses her. That kiss, which once meant love, is now just a contract fulfilled. I love you, he says. Amelia replies as she has every morning for 3 weeks. I love you too. The words feel like glass in her mouth. Robert leaves at 11 a.m. Amelia waits 20 minutes. She calls Stephen. It's all done. Everything. Stephen's voice sounds tired but satisfied. $18 million transferred to 3 subsidiaries in Panama. Joint personal accounts emptied this morning. Powers of attorney revoked yesterday. Passwords changed on all platforms. And the card? Active until 6 p.m., then canceled. Amelia checks her watch. It's 11:30. Robert will get to the airport at noon, board at 2, land in Miami at 4:30, and arrive at the hotel at 6. Just in time for his card to be declined. Perfect. She hangs up. She calls Laura. The court order to freeze Natalie's account was issued 48 hours ago, Laura informs her. It gets executed today at 5 p.m. And the divorce papers? A process server is in position across the street from your house. As soon as you give me the signal, he rings the bell. Amelia smiles. Wait for my call. The next few hours drag on like years. Amelia tries to work, reviewing designs, approving samples, but her mind is in an airport, on a plane, in a luxury hotel her money paid for. At 6:14 p.m., her phone rings. Robert. Amelia lets it ring 3 times. 4. 5. She answers. Hello, love. Robert's voice is trembling. There's a problem with the card. What kind of problem? It was declined. I tried to pay for the hotel and it was declined. I called the bank and they said it was canceled. Amelia leans back in her chair, closes her eyes, savoring this moment. That's strange. Robert, this isn't a joke. I'm at the hotel reception. There's a line of people behind me. I need you to call the bank and no. Silence. What did you say? I said no, Robert. Amelia's voice is pure ice. I'm not going to call the bank. I'm not going to fix your problem. Do you know why? Robert doesn't answer. Amelia can hear his frantic breathing. Because I found out about every lie you've told me for 7 years. Amelia, wait. I found out you spent $700,000 of my money on your mistress. I found out Natalie isn't just your financial advisor. I found out about the trips, the jewelry, the hotels. It's not what you think. Amelia laughs. There's no joy in the sound. It's not? So there isn't $250,000 in visible expenses? There isn't $450,000 in a Cayman Islands account in your mother's name? Robert makes a strangled sound. I moved every dollar, Robert. Every single damn dollar. All the money we had is now in places you will never be able to touch. The corporate accounts were transferred to subsidiaries where you have no access. The joint personal accounts, I emptied legally because I'm the primary holder. Your powers of attorney were revoked 3 days ago. You can't do that. I already did. Amelia, please, can we just talk? Also, Amelia continues, there's a process server at my front door waiting for you with divorce papers and an eviction notice. Natalie is at this very moment giving a statement against you to the DA because her account was frozen by court order, and the only way she can avoid felony charges is to cooperate. You're lying. Want to find out? Try to access the Cayman account. Go on, call your mother, ask her for the passwords. She hears Robert typing furiously. A minute. 2. Then a choked gasp. It's frozen. The account is frozen. Surprise. Amelia's voice could cut steel. Frank Pacheco, my private investigator, found it 2 weeks ago. We presented evidence to a judge. A preemptive asset freeze was issued 5 days ago. You can't leave me with nothing. You stole from me for 14 months. I'm just taking back what's mine. Robert is crying. Amelia listens to his sobs. Once, that sound would have broken her heart. Now, she only feels cold satisfaction. You know what's saddest, Robert? Amelia looks out her office window. The city spreads out before her. That I loved you with every cell in my body, and you only saw a bank account with legs. I loved you too. No, you didn't. And that's the difference between you and me. I know how to love. You only know how to steal. She hangs up, blocks his number. Her hands are shaking, her breath is ragged. But for the first time in 3 weeks, Amelia allows herself to cry, not for Robert. She cries for the woman she was 21 days ago, the woman who believed in love. That woman is dead. 10 minutes later, her phone rings. Unknown number. Mrs. Miller, a trembling female voice. It's Natalie. Amelia wipes her tears. Miss Vance, what a surprise. Please, I need to talk to you. I can explain. Come to my office. Now, but I'm in now. She hangs up. Natalie arrives 47 minutes later. Her perfect makeup is streaked. Her hands are shaking. Amelia waits for her in the conference room. The table is covered in evidence. Bank statements, photographs, the video where they mock her. Sit. Natalie obeys. She looks at the table. Pales. How long did you think you could steal from me without consequences? I didn't. Robert told me that you two were. What did Robert tell you? Amelia leans forward. Did he tell you I was naive? That I was too busy to notice? Natalie cries silently. I have one question, Amelia says. Was it worth it? Were the luxury hotels and the Cartier bracelets worth it? Because now you're facing fraud charges, your account is frozen, your professional license will be revoked, and no firm in this country will hire you when they find out you stole millions from a client. I'm sorry. You're not sorry. You're sorry you got caught. Amelia slides a folder across the table. But I have an offer. You return $1.8 million in payments over 5 years. You turn over all evidence against Robert. You testify against him, and I will convince the prosecutor to reduce the charges. I don't have $1.8 million. Then find it. Or spend the next 8 years in prison. Amelia stands up. You have 24 hours to decide. She leaves the room without looking back. She doesn't want to see Natalie broken. She's had enough destruction for one day. Robert gets back to New York City on Saturday morning. He took the first flight he could afford on a personal credit card with a $2,000 limit. Natalie didn't return with him. She took a different flight. They're no longer speaking. Robert arrives at the brownstone at 10 a.m. He tries to open the door with his key. The lock has been changed. He rings the bell. No one answers. A man with a briefcase approaches from a parked car. Robert Miller? Yes. Official service. He hands him a thick envelope. Petition for fault-based divorce. Preliminary hearing in 72 hours. Immediate order of eviction from the property located at. Robert doesn't hear the rest. He opens the envelope with trembling hands. Reads the first page, then the second. His legs give out. He sits on the front step of what used to be his home. Inside the envelope is also a small box. His personal effects, clothes, shoes, photographs, everything he has left from 7 years. His phone buzzes. An email. The sender is Amelia. The subject, the truth about Robert Miller. He opens it. It's been sent to his parents, his siblings, his friends, his former colleagues. 800 words explaining the fraud, the trips, the theft. No explicit photos, but bank statements are attached. The final line reads, "For 7 years, I built a marriage based on trust. For 14 months, Robert built a fraud based on my money. Today, I reclaimed my assets. He can keep his destroyed reputation." Robert tries to call his mother. No answer. His father. Voicemail. His brother. Blocked. They all know. They all hate him. He sits on that step until it gets dark. No one comes. No one looks for him. Finally, he stands up, takes the box, and walks down the street. He doesn't know where to go. He no longer has a home. A week later, Robert tries to enter the offices of Aria Designs. Security stops him at reception. "I'm sorry, Mr. Miller. You're barred from entry by order of the CEO." Robert insists, pleads, yells. Amelia comes down personally, stands 30 feet away. Her security team forms a barrier between them. "Amelia, please, just give me 5 minutes." She looks at him the way one looks at an annoying stranger. "I have nothing to say to you. My lawyer will speak with you at the hearing on Wednesday. 7 years has to be worth something." It was worth $700,000. "I've already collected." Robert takes a step forward. Security stops him. "You can't just leave me on the street. I'm your husband. You were." Amelia corrects the tense. "You're nothing to me anymore. You're going to regret this. I'll destroy you in the media. Everyone will know you're a vengeful, cruel woman." Amelia doesn't respond. She gets on the elevator. The doors close. Only then does she allow her hands to tremble. That night, Amelia is in her office reviewing contracts. She can't concentrate. The words blur. The numbers don't make sense. Laura walks in without knocking. "Have you eaten today?" "I'm not hungry." "Amelia, you haven't eaten properly in a week. You're losing weight." "I'm fine." "No, you're not." Laura sits across from her. "You won. Robert is destroyed. Natalie is going to pay. Your money is safe. But you're what? Destroyed too." Laura doesn't answer. She doesn't have to. Amelia closes the laptop. "I thought I would feel better. I thought when they paid, when they suffered, this pain would go away, but it's still here." Amelia touches her chest like there's a hole that won't fill. "You need therapy. And time." "I don't have time. I have a company to run." Laura's phone buzzes. She reads the message, frowns. Stephen says someone tried to access the frozen accounts. Amelia is instantly alert. Robert? No. The IP is from Los Angeles. And they used credentials that neither you nor Robert have. That's impossible. Only Stephen, you and I know about those accounts. Laura forwards the message to Frank. Not anymore. Frank arrives 30 minutes later with his laptop. His fingers fly across the keyboard. The access attempt came from an internet cafe in Los Angeles. They used a VPN, but I managed to trace the physical location. He shows a map. A red dot blinks in an industrial area. "Who else knows Robert's financial details?" Frank asks. "His mother, Grace Alvarez. Amelia, remember, the Cayman account is in her name. She knows the passwords. Robert has them, or he had them." Frank opens another window. There's more. Robert received a call 3 days ago from an LA number. It lasted 47 minutes. You could trace it, burner phone, but I triangulated the location. Frank points at the map. Same area as the internet cafe. Amelia feels a chill. Someone else is in the game. Robert spends that week in a cheap hotel. His personal card has a $2,000 limit. He has $700 left. He doesn't know what to do, where to go, how to survive. On Tuesday afternoon, there's a knock at his door. A man in his 50s, cheap suit, a shark smile. Robert Miller? Who's asking? Maxwell Cerna, attorney. He holds out a card. I represent Natalie Vance. Robert tries to shut the door. The man puts his foot in it. 5 minutes of your time. It's important. Robert lets him in. He has no energy to fight. Maxwell sits down uninvited. He pulls out a folder. My client confessed something interesting about your little joint venture. What does she want? Natalie told me you have an offshore account in the Cayman Islands. $450,000. In your mother's name, but operated by you. Robert feels the floor give way. That account is frozen. I know, but it won't be frozen forever, and when it's released, Maxwell smiles. My client wants 50%, $225,000. Natalie's insane. Natalie has evidence she can send directly to Mrs. Miller, evidence of more accounts, more transfers. Things that even the brilliant Amelia hasn't discovered yet. Robert sits on the bed. This is extortion. This is a negotiation. Maxwell leaves the folder. You have 24 hours to decide. 50%, or Natalie sings everything. He leaves without saying goodbye. Robert opens the folder with trembling hands. Inside are copies of transfers he thought were secret, conversations with Natalie he thought were deleted. His phone rings. Unknown number. Hello, Robert. It's me. Natalie's voice. You talked to my brother. Your brother? He said he was your lawyer. Salvador is my older brother, and he's giving you a chance. A chance? He's extorting me. He's saving you. If Amelia finds out about the other accounts, you're going to prison for 20 years. If you give me my share, I'll keep quiet. I don't have access to that account. It's frozen. Then get access. Natalie's voice is cold. Or, get a good criminal defense attorney. She hangs up. Robert stares at the phone. His life was a disaster a week ago. Now it's hell. Wednesday is the preliminary divorce hearing. Robert shows up in wrinkled clothes, unshaven, without a lawyer. Amelia arrives with Laura and a legal team of 4. Gray power suit, perfect makeup, straight back. The judge reviews the evidence, bank statements, photographs, the video. Robert has no defense. He doesn't even try. Mr. A. Miller, the judge says, do you have anything to plead? No, Your Honor. Very well. Given the evidence presented, I decree a fault-based divorce. Distribution of assets. 0% to the respondent for breach of the duty of fidelity and misappropriation of marital assets. The gavel strikes. 3 seconds. 7 years of marriage are over. Amelia feels nothing. Not relief, not joy. Just emptiness. She walks out of the courtroom without looking at Robert. Outside the courthouse, Stephen is waiting with a worried expression. I need to talk to you. Urgently. They get into Amelia's car. Stephen shuts the doors. Someone sent an anonymous email to Laura this morning with information about an additional account. Another account? Stephen nods. In the Cayman Islands. But it's not the same one we already knew about. It's a second account with $225,000. Amelia closes her eyes. How much money did this man steal from me? I don't know, but someone else does. And they're feeding us information. Why? That's the question. Stephen shows her the email. Look at the sender. User 428@encryptedmail.com, and look at the signature at the end. A single line. Robert didn't work alone, and Natalie isn't the architect. She's just an employee. Amelia's phone rings. Private number. She answers with trembling hands. Mrs. Miller. An older woman's voice, trembling, scared. This is Grace Alvarez, Robert's mother. Amelia signals to Stephen. He activates the recorder. What do you want? I need to talk to you in person, not on the phone. Why would I talk to the mother of the man who stole nearly $1 million from me? Because my son didn't act alone, Grace sobs. And because you need to know the truth before it's too late. What truth? That Robert wasn't the first, and you aren't the first victim. Grace's voice breaks. There's a man. He calls himself Victor Thorne. And for 10 years, he's been destroying women like you. Amelia feels the car spinning. 10 years. My son was recruited a decade ago, trained, turned into what he is. Grace takes a deep breath. Please, Mrs. Miller, let me explain before he finds out I'm talking to you. Who? Robert? No. Victor. He knows everything. He always knows everything. The call cuts off. Amelia stares at the phone. Stephen asks, "What do we do?" "Find Grace Alvarez. Bring her here, under protection." "You think she's telling the truth?" Amelia remembers the words. 10 years destroying women. Yes, and that terrifies me. Grace Alvarez arrives escorted by Frank. She is a thin woman of 67, with deep-set dark circles and hands that never stop shaking. Amelia waits for her in a private conference room. Laura and Stephen are present. Frank activates 3 recorders. "Thank you for coming," Amelia says. Grace sits, pulls out a shoebox filled with documents, photographs, and receipts. Almost 10 years ago, Robert was bankrupt. Her voice trembles, but she continues. He lost his job at a financial firm. He owed money all over Los Angeles. I sold my mother's jewelry to help him. Amelia doesn't interrupt, just listens. One night, he came to my house with a man. He introduced himself as Victor Thorne, a business consultant. He said he could help Robert recover financially. Grace pulls out a blurry photograph. A man around 50, graying hair, dark glasses, a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Victor proposed a plan to Robert. Grace closes her eyes. Seduce successful businesswomen, marry them, steal from them, divorce them, split the money. 60-40. Laura drops her pen. Wait, are you telling me your son was recruited to be a professional marriage fraud con man? Yes. And you allowed it? I begged him not to do it, Grace cries. But Robert was always weak, always needed easy money, and I couldn't stop him. Amelia feels sick. Robert met me by chance. No. Grace shakes her head. Victor researches his targets for months. He identifies successful, single, childless women with vulnerable assets. Then he trains men like Robert to seduce them. Trains them? Grace pulls out a handwritten notebook. Victor has a manual, with scripts, strategies, moments to propose marriage. How to build trust. How to convince them not to get prenups. Amelia takes the notebook with trembling hands. She reads the first page. Objective: generate emotional dependency in 6 months. Method: be the man she never had. Listen to her, validate her, make her feel special. Every word is a stab. She flips through the pages, finds a section titled Project A, Amelia Miller. Profile: textile entrepreneur, 31, single, no children. Estimated net worth: $18 million. Vulnerability: works 14-hour days, little social life, craves personal balance. Strategy: present myself as a man with no financial ambitions who values quality time over money. Amelia can't breathe. It was all calculated, she whispers. Every word, every gesture, every I love you. Grace completes. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Laura takes the notebook, reads in silence. Her expression hardens. How many women has Victor conned? Grace pulls out more documents. Robert wasn't his only employee. Victor recruits men who are broke, trains them, turns them into predators. She unfolds a handwritten list, 12 women's names, dates, cities, amounts stolen. Paula Guzman, Dallas, 2018. $1.5 million. Committed suicide in 2020. Amelia feels the floor disappear. Fernanda Robles, Los Angeles, 2019. $2.2 million. Went bankrupt. Attempted suicide in 2022. Survived. Stephen stands, walks to the window. He can't listen anymore. Lucia Campos, Philadelphia, 2021. $1 million. Facing lawsuits, lost her firm. Beatrice Maldonado, Denver, 2023. $2.5 million. May go to prison for unfulfilled contracts. Grace finishes the list, looks up. And you, Mrs. Miller, New York City, 2024. $700,000. But you were different. Why? Because you discovered the trap before they could completely destroy you. You had the resources to fight back, the time to act. Grace touches Amelia's hand. The others didn't have that luck. Amelia pulls her hand away. Why are you telling me this now? Why not before? Because I was afraid. Victor controls Robert. If Robert knew I talked to you, Grace shudders. But I don't care anymore. My son became a monster, and I was a coward for too long. Frank examines the documents, his expression grave. I need to verify these cases. If they're real, we're talking about an organized criminal network. They're real, Grace says. I have more. Contracts between Robert and Victor, profit percentages, everything. She pulls out handwritten papers, terms like project, target, timeline, profit sharing. Laura photographs them. This is evidence of a criminal enterprise. Racketeering. We can file federal charges. Where is Victor now? Amelia asks. I don't know. He moves constantly, uses false identities. Robert only communicates with him through encrypted apps. Amelia stands, paces, thinks. Her mind works at an impossible speed. I need to talk to the other women, the survivors. What for? Asks Stephen. Because I got lucky. Money, lawyers, investigators, time. Amelia looks at Grace. The others didn't. If we're going to stop Victor, I need to know everything. Every pattern, every method, every mistake he made. Frank is already typing. I've found Fernanda Robles. Lives in Los Angeles. Works as a bookkeeper. Call her. Tell her I need to speak with her. And if she doesn't want to, tell her she's not alone. Tell her someone is finally going to make them pay. 2 days later, Fernanda Robles arrives in New York City. She's 42 but looks 60. Gray hair, trembling hands, an empty gaze. Amelia meets her in her private office, just the two of them. Thank you for coming. Fernanda sits as if afraid of breaking the chair. I don't know what I can contribute. Tell me what happened. Fernanda looks at her hands. I met Javier Torres at a gym 5 years ago. He was charming, attentive, made me feel special. The story is identical to Amelia's. The same phrases, the same gestures, the same manual. We got married 8 months later. He suggested we merge our accounts to better plan for the future. I trusted him. Fernanda cries without a sound. 2 years later, he disappeared with $2.2 million. My coffee shops went bankrupt. I lost my house, my savings, everything. Did you try to sue him? They couldn't find a Javier Torres. The name was fake. He vanished as if he'd never existed. Amelia feels pure rage. No one helped you? The police said it was a civil matter. My family blamed me for being naive. My friends drifted away. Fernanda looks at Amelia. I tried to kill myself 2 years ago. I took pills. They found me in time. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Just catch him. Catch whoever did this. Not just my Javier, the man behind him. Victor Thorne. Fernanda startles. You know that name? I do now. I saw him once. Javier got a call. He left the restaurant. I followed him. I saw Javier hand an envelope to a man in a car. An older man, graying hair. Did you hear anything? Javier said, Victor, here's your 60%. The man laughed and said, Good work with that fool. Fernanda wipes her tears. The fool was me. Amelia takes Fernanda's hand. You weren't a fool. You were a woman who had the courage to love. They are the criminals. But how do you stop him? We don't even know where he is. We'll find him, and when we do... Amelia squeezes Fernanda's hand. He's going to pay for every woman he destroyed. That night, Amelia can't sleep. She reads and rereads the documents Grace brought, the cases, the victims, the methods. Her phone buzzes. A message from Frank. Found something. You need to see this now. Amelia gets dressed. Drives to Frank's office at 1 a.m. He's waiting for her with 3 screens lit up. I investigated Natalie Vance more deeply. I found her complete work history. He shows a timeline. Natalie worked at 4 companies in 5 years. At each company, a major female client became a victim of marriage fraud 6 to 12 months after Natalie was hired. Amelia feels a cold dread. Natalie isn't just Robert's mistress. No. Natalie is the recruiter. Her job is to infiltrate companies, identify vulnerabilities, get inside information, and prepare the ground. And who recruited her? Frank opens another file. I found a wire transfer for $25,000 from an account named Thorn Asset Management to Natalie's account, dated 3 weeks before you hired her. Amelia stares at the screen. Thorn. Victor Thorn is more than a lone con man, Amelia. He's running a full operation, with recruiters, operators, infrastructure. How did Natalie find me? Frank shows another screen. Remember the Women in Business conference in the Hudson Valley 2 years ago? Yes, that's where I met Regina Carver. She's the one who recommended Natalie. Regina Carver was a victim of marriage fraud 4 years ago. She lost her boutique hotel. Frank pauses. Victor used Regina as a hook, without her knowing. He identified you at that conference. He planted Natalie. He waited for you to take the bait. Amelia, sit down. Her legs won't support her. This was all planned months before I even met Robert. Yes, I never had a chance. No. But you have one now. Frank shuts down the screens because you know the game. And you know who controls it. Amelia looks out the window. The city is sleeping. Thousands of women, sleeping, not knowing they could be the next target. I'm going to find him, she says softly, and I'm going to destroy his network. Every operator, every recruiter, every accomplice. It's going to be dangerous. I don't care. Amelia turns to him. Paula is dead. Fernanda almost killed herself. Lucia is in ruins. Beatrice might go to prison. How many more, Frank? How many more before someone stops him? Then you need more than revenge. You need a plan. Amelia smiles. There's no joy in that smile, only steel-like determination. I already have one. Amelia convenes a meeting in her office. Fernanda, Laura, Stephen, and Frank are there, along with 2 other women, Lucia Campos and Beatrice Maldonado. 4 survivors in one room. The stories are identical. I met Miguel at an architecture expo, Lucia says, her voice barely a whisper. 8 months later, we were married. 18 months after that, he disappeared with $1 million. Beatrice adds, Ricardo convinced me to let him handle the administrative side of my construction company because I was too busy. A year later, $2.5 million were gone, and so was he. The stories repeat. Different names, different cities, same exact pattern. How many of us are there? Fernanda asks. Frank displays his research. 12 documented cases in 7 years. 4 are here. 2 are deceased. 6 more we haven't contacted. 12 women, Amelia murmurs. In 7 years. Over $10 million stolen in total, Stephen adds. That we know of. Laura closes her laptop. It's not enough to sue Robert and Natalie. We need public exposure, media pressure, force the authorities to make this a priority. Public exposure? Fernanda pales. That means telling my story in front of cameras. Yes, everyone will know I was tricked, that I was a fool. Amelia leans forward. You weren't a fool. You were the victim of an organized criminal network. There's a difference. People won't see that difference. They'll say I should have seen the signs, that I must have suspected something. Let them. Amelia's voice is firm. I don't care what they think of me. I care about preventing a 13th victim. A 14th. Lucia looks up. What exactly are you proposing? A full media campaign. An interview with a prestigious investigative journalist. We expose the pattern. We show the evidence. We invite other victims to come forward. That will destroy your privacy, Beatrice warns. I don't have any privacy left. Robert made sure of that. Amelia looks at each woman. But together, we have power. 1 voice can be ignored. 4 cannot. Fernanda wipes her tears. Okay, I'll do it. Lucia nods. Me too. Beatrice sighs. If this helps that man pay, count me in. Sarah Jennings is an investigative journalist with 20 years of experience. She's exposed government corruption, uncovered trafficking rings. Amelia trusts her. The interview is taped over 2 days. Part 1. Amelia tells her full story. I met Robert 7 years ago. He seemed perfect, attentive, no financial ambitions. He made me feel special. Amelia looks directly into the camera. It was all a lie. Every word, every gesture followed a manual designed to seduce and steal. She shows pixelated evidence, bank statements, Victor's notebook, the photographs. For 14 months, my husband and his accomplice stole $700,000 from me. They spent it on luxury travel, jewelry, hotels. They built a parallel life with my money. Sarah asks direct questions. Why didn't you suspect sooner? Because I trusted him. Because love isn't supposed to include daily audits. Because I never imagined a criminal network specializing in this existed. Criminal network? Amelia takes a deep breath. My case isn't unique, it's part of a pattern. A man named Victor Thorne has been recruiting marriage fraud con men for years. He trains them, directs them, and takes 60% of every theft. Part 2. Testimonies from Fernanda, Lucia, and Beatrice. Fernanda cries on camera. I lost my business, my home, my dignity. I tried to take my own life because I couldn't bear the pain. Lucia adds, I'm facing lawsuits for crimes I didn't commit. My reputation is destroyed, and the man who robbed me is free somewhere. Beatrice concludes, I might go to prison for contracts I couldn't fulfill because my husband stole the funds. I'm a victim, but the system treats me like a criminal. Sarah ends the interview with one question. What do you want to happen now? The 4 women answer in unison, justice. The report is titled The Honey Trap Husbands, The Criminal Ring Preying on Successful Women. It airs on a Sunday night. 4.2 million live viewers. The impact is immediate and brutal. Twitter explodes. The hashtag number #FraudHusbands is trending nationally within 30 minutes. But the reactions are divided. Amelia reads comments on her phone. Powerful women sharing their truth. This is bravery. If she was dumb enough not to see the signs, she deserved it. Amelia Miller is my hero. Thank you for speaking out. Feminists now want to criminalize marriage. 12 victims? How many more are out there, too afraid to speak? Bitter woman who couldn't keep her husband happy. Laura enters the office. 17 additional women have contacted the show in the last 6 hours. They're reporting similar cases. 17. And 3 congresswomen have announced a bill to classify organized marriage fraud as a federal crime with enhanced penalties. Amelia feels the first real flicker of hope. It's working, but there are consequences. Laura shows her phone. You're getting death threats, hacking attempts, massive online harassment. I don't care. Amelia, some of these are serious. You need security. I already have it. Frank installed full systems. Amelia's phone buzzes. Unknown number. A text message. Mrs. Miller, you're playing a dangerous game. Stop your investigation, or the next Paula will be you. The message self-destructs in 10 seconds. Amelia shows the blank screen to Laura. See? They're already threatening me. That means it's hurting them, or it means you're in real danger. Good. I want them to know I'm not stopping. Meanwhile, Frank discovers something disturbing. He reviews security footage from the last 3 months. He finds a woman who appears repeatedly. At the conference where Amelia spoke, in the restaurant where they filmed part of the interview, on the street across from the Aria Designs offices. Short black hair, thick glasses, a scar on her left eyebrow. Do you know her? He asks Amelia. No, I've never seen her. Frank runs a facial recognition search. He finds matches in background photos from all the victims' cases. In the gym where Fernanda met Javier. At the expo where Lucia met Miguel. This woman has been documenting every operation, Frank says. She either works for Victor, or she's watching him just like we are. Amelia stares at the images. The woman is always in the background, never the focus. Observing, photographing, disappearing. I need to know who she is. I'm on it. But there's more. Frank opens another window. The Department of Justice has elevated the case to national priority. They have a search warrant for the offices of Thorne Asset Management for tomorrow morning. Where are they? A corporate building on Park Avenue. Amelia feels a rush of adrenaline. We're finally going to get him. But Frank doesn't share her enthusiasm. Amelia, if Victor is as smart as we think he is, he already knows we're coming for him. And what can he do? Run. Exactly. The raid happens the next day at 6 a.m. FBI agents, federal prosecutors, forensic teams. Amelia can't be there. She watches from her office. Laura calls her every 30 minutes with updates. They're in the building. The offices are on the 12th floor. They're breaching the doors. Amelia. Laura's voice changes. The offices are empty. What? Completely empty. Wiped computers, burned files, furniture covered in plastic, like no one's worked there in weeks. Amelia slams her fist on the desk. No. No. Victor Thorne fled. Probably days ago. Frank checks flight manifests. He left the country 3 days ago. A flight to Bogotá on a Spanish passport. Can we request extradition? Colombia will take months to process the request, and Victor can move to another country before they act. Amelia paces in circles. Months of work, weeks of planning, all for nothing. He got away. For now, Laura says. But he can't hide forever. Amelia's phone buzzes. An email from an unknown sender. Subject, check, but not checkmate. Amelia opens it with trembling hands. Mrs. Miller, I genuinely admire your tenacity. Few of my clients have gotten this far. But you're making a mistake. You think this is personal. It's not. It's business. I have nothing against you. You were simply profitable. Robert did his job, Natalie did hers, and I did mine. I'm leaving temporarily because the states have become uncomfortable, but I'll be back. I always come back. Enjoy your Pyrrhic victory. You got your money back, but you lost 7 years believing a lie. How much is that worth? What's the price of knowing that every I love you was an act? I stole your money, Mrs. Miller, but you lost something you'll never recover, the ability to trust. That is my real profit. Until we meet again. VT. Amelia reads the email 3 times. Then she does something unexpected. She replies, Mr. Thorne, you're right about one thing. I lost the ability to trust liars, but I gained something better, the ability to destroy them. I'll see you soon, and when I do, there won't be any until we meet again. A.M. She hits send. The war has just become personal. 3 months after the report, Amelia has turned her revenge into a mission. The Asset Shield Foundation has offices in Soho, 3 full-time lawyers, 2 private investigators, and a trauma-specialized social worker. In 12 weeks, they've helped 34 women, recovered $42 million, and brought 7 additional con men to trial. 3 are already in prison, but Victor Thorne is still free. Amelia is reviewing reports in her office. Frank walks in without knocking. I found him. Amelia looks up. Where? Marbella, Spain. He used one of his U.S. accounts to pay rent on a penthouse. Frank displays satellite photos, confirmed with Spanish authorities. Victor Thorne is living on the Mediterranean coast with legitimate Spanish documentation. Perfect. We request extradition. We can't. Laura enters behind Frank. Spain does not extradite its own citizens. Victor has Spanish nationality. As long as he stays on Spanish soil, he's beyond our legal reach. Amelia hits her desk. There has to be a way. Not legally. Unless he commits a crime in Spain that justifies his arrest there, or unless he voluntarily returns to the U.S. He's never going to return voluntarily. Laura sits. Then we need to force him. The 3 of them look at each other in silence. Amelia feels an idea forming. What if we create a reason for him to come back? What kind of reason? Frank asks. The only thing he cares about. Money. A new target. An operation too big to resist. Laura frowns. You're talking about creating a fake victim. Exactly. That's risky. Probably illegal. Probably. Amelia smiles. Do you have a better idea? They spend 2 weeks designing Operation Mirror. The plan: create a fictitious businesswoman so attractive that Victor can't resist. Lure him back to the U.S. Catch him in the act. We need a real person, Frank says. with a legitimate business, a public profile, one who fits the pattern of previous victims, Amelia thinks. Paula Marquez, Paula Guzman's sister. Yes, she inherited the family business after her sister's death. She's a legitimate, single, successful entrepreneur, exactly the profile Victor hunts. Laura objects. It's too dangerous if Victor investigates her and finds out she's the sister of a previous victim. Paula used her husband's last name, Guzman. Paula uses her maiden name, Marquez. They are two separate identities. Frank verifies. It's true. There's no obvious digital link between Paula Marquez and Paula Guzman. Besides, Amelia adds, Paula has personal motivation. Her sister killed herself because of Victor. This is her chance to avenge her. They call Paula. She arrives that same afternoon. You want me to be the bait? Paula shows no fear, only determination. I accept. It's dangerous, Laura warns. If Victor suspects, if he discovers the setup, I don't care. My sister is dead because of this man. If I can help catch him, I'll do it. They spend a week preparing. They create business social media profiles for Paula. They publish articles about her company's successful expansion. They attend high-profile events. Frank deliberately leaks information about vulnerabilities in her financial structure. It's perfect bait. Now we wait, Amelia says. If Victor bites, he'll send one of his operators. 2 weeks pass, nothing. Then 3. Amelia starts to lose hope. Maybe Victor is too cautious. Maybe he knows it's a trap. Then, in week 4, Paula gets a message on LinkedIn. Eduardo Sanchez, 42, entrepreneur in professional transition, interested in joint investment projects. Frank checks the profile. It's new, 3 weeks old, manipulated stock photos. It's him. It's one of Victor's operators. Paula replies to the message. I'd like to hear more about your projects. Could we schedule a video call? Eduardo accepts immediately. The video call is exactly like the stories Amelia heard. Eduardo uses the same manual, building empathy with the story of a failed business. He shows vulnerability. He praises Paula's success without being over the top. I'd love to explore synergies. No pressure, Eduardo says with a calculated smile. How about coffee? Paula accepts. Sounds good. Frank equips Paula with a hidden microphone and a camera in her watch. The team monitors everything from a van parked down the street. The coffee date is disturbingly familiar. Eduardo asks about finances without seeming invasive. He mentions that the best partnerships are built on mutual trust. He subtly hints at romantic attraction. At the end, he proposes a second, more personal date. Paula accepts. Her performance is perfect. Over the next 6 weeks, Paula and Eduardo become a couple. He is perfect, attentive, romantic. He proposes after a month and a half. Amelia watches every interaction. It's like watching her own story on replay. It's exactly the same, she murmurs. Every word, every gesture. Because they all follow the same manual, Frank says. Paula accepts the proposal. But there's a problem. They need Victor to come to the U.S. personally. My family is very traditional, Paula tells Eduardo. I need your parents to meet mine before the wedding. Eduardo hesitates. My father lives in Europe. It's complicated. It's important to me. Culturally, we need that approval. Eduardo consults with someone. 2 days later, my father is coming next week. He'll be here for 3 days. The team mobilizes. They coordinate with the DOJ, with Interpol, with the cybercrime unit. They design a capture operation for when Eduardo's father arrives. But Victor is smarter. He doesn't come himself. He sends a woman posing as Laura Sanchez, Eduardo's mother. It's the woman from the photographs. Short black hair, thick glasses, the scar on her eyebrow. Paula recognizes her immediately from her sister's funeral. During the formal dinner, the woman stands up. Miss Marquez, could we speak in private? They go to the restaurant's restroom. Paula activates her emergency recorder. The woman speaks first. I know who you are. I know your sister was Paula. I know this is a trap. Paula doesn't deny it. And what are you going to do about it? Nothing. The woman takes off her glasses. Her eyes are tired, empty. Because I want Victor to go down too. Paula freezes. What? My real name is Veronica Soto. I was Victor Thorne's first victim, 12 years ago. He destroyed me financially when I was 22, left me broke and in debt. Veronica pulls a USB drive from her purse. But I infiltrated his organization. I've spent 6 years documenting every operation, every victim, every theft. I've been waiting for the right moment to destroy him. You created that moment. Paula takes the USB with trembling hands. Why should I believe you? Because I have evidence the authorities need. Names, dates, bank accounts, properties. 6 years of documentation. Veronica looks at Paula. But I need protection. Victor has contacts in the police, in the DA's office. I waited until there was enough media pressure that he couldn't buy his way out. Thanks to Amelia Miller, that moment is now. Paula leaves the restroom, gives a signal to Frank. An hour later, the entire team is reviewing the USB's contents in a crisis room. It's explosive. 15 documented victims, not 12. Over $20 million stolen in total. 12 active accomplices, including 2 lawyers and a bank official. Operations in the U.S., Colombia, Spain, Argentina. Laura almost cries with joy. With this, we don't just put Victor away, we dismantle the entire network. But Veronica warns, Victor won't come to the U.S. voluntarily. He's too cautious. How do we bring him here then? Amelia asks. Veronica smiles. It's not a happy smile. It's thirsty for revenge. I'll bring him. But I need protection, witness immunity, and a new identity. A criminal lawyer negotiates with the DOJ. Veronica gets everything in exchange for her testimony. The final plan. Veronica will tell Victor that the Paula Marquez operation is ready to execute, that she's found vulnerabilities in her corporate accounts worth $35 million, and that he needs to come personally to supervise the final transfer. Victor takes the bait. He confirms a flight for the following Monday. Amelia can't sleep that weekend. She reviews every detail, every contingency, every possible mistake. What if he doesn't come? She asks Laura. He'll come. $35 million is too big to ignore. What if he suspects? Veronica knows him better than anyone. If she says he'll come, he'll come. On Monday at 6:47 p.m., a flight from Madrid lands at JFK International Airport. Victor Thorne passes through immigration without issue. He's using his Spanish passport with his real name. He walks out into the arrivals hall. 40 FBI agents are waiting for him, 3 federal prosecutors, 2 Interpol agents, and Amelia Miller with her legal team. Victor sees the operation, tries to run. He's tackled in 5 seconds. Handcuffs, writes Red. He screams, "I'm a Spanish citizen. I demand to speak to my embassy." A prosecutor responds, "Mr. Thorne, you are under arrest for racketeering, aggravated financial fraud, and conspiracy to commit 15 financial crimes on U.S. soil. Your nationality does not grant you immunity." Victor's eyes search the crowd. He sees Veronica standing behind the prosecutors. He understands. "Veronica, you betrayed me?" Veronica walks slowly toward him, crouches to his level. "Do you remember what you said to me when you left me with $500,000 in debt 12 years ago?" Her voice is ice. "You said, 'It's just business, Veronica, not personal.' Well, Victor, this isn't personal either. It's justice." Amelia approaches, looks at Victor for the first time. He's shorter than she imagined, grayer, more ordinary. "Mr. Thorne," she says, her voice clear, "you stole 7 years from me. I can't get that time back, but I can make sure you lose the next 30 in prison." Victor spits at her. He misses. The agents lead him away. Amelia watches them take Victor away in handcuffs. She waited for this moment for months. She imagined she would feel triumphant, victorious, complete. Instead, she feels empty. Laura touches her shoulder. "Are you okay?" "I don't know." Around them, other victims are crying. Fernanda is hugging Lucia. Beatrice holds Paula's hand. Veronica watches silently, her eyes dry after years of tears. "We got him," Fernanda says. "We really got him." But Amelia can't celebrate. Victor is arrested. Then what? Paula is still dead. Fernanda is still broke. Lucia is still facing lawsuits. The stolen years don't come back. Let's go, Laura says gently. This is just the beginning. The trial lasts 7 months. The media calls it the fortune hunter case. The courtroom is packed. Amelia testifies in the 3rd week. She answers questions for 6 hours. Victor's lawyer tries to discredit her. Isn't it true, Mrs. Miller, that you started this manhunt out of spite because your husband left you? No. Amelia's voice is firm. My husband didn't leave me. He robbed me. There's a difference, but you admit your marriage had problems. My marriage was a lie from the beginning. It didn't have problems. It didn't exist. The lawyer persists. Isn't it possible you simply misinterpreted your husband's actions? Objection, Your Honor, Laura interjects. We have over $700,000 of evidence that there was no misinterpretation. The judge sustains. The lawyer sits down. Fernanda testifies next. She cries, remembering how she lost everything, how she tried to kill herself, how no one believed her. The police said it was a civil matter. My family said I was a fool. My friends disappeared. Fernanda looks directly at Victor. This man took more than money from me. He took my life. Lucia testifies about the lawsuits she faces. Beatrice about the possibility of prison for crimes she didn't commit. Paula testifies about her sister. Paula was 34 when she jumped from the 12th floor. She left a note. It said, "I can't live knowing I was so foolish." But she wasn't foolish, she was a victim. The most devastating moment comes when Veronica Soto testifies. She lays out the entire operation. The manuals, the training, the commissions. Victor Thorne recruits men who are financially broken, promises them millions, trains them for months. He teaches them what to say, how to act, when to propose. She holds up the notebook, the complete manual. The prosecutor reads from it aloud. Objective: generate emotional dependency. Method: identify her insecurities and exploit them. If she works too hard, be the man who reminds her to rest. If she's lonely, be her family. If she doubts herself, be her unconditional admirer. Every word is calculated, every gesture rehearsed, every "I love you" programmed. The courtroom is silent. Victor shows no emotion. He sits upright as if this has nothing to do with him. But when Veronica finishes, when she reveals the $20 million stolen, the 15 documented victims, the 5 linked suicides, something in his expression changes. He finally understands that he's lost. Robert testifies too. He has no choice. It's part of his plea deal. He looks terrible. He's lost weight. His suit hangs off him. His eyes are hollow. When did you meet Victor Thorne? The prosecutor asks. 11 years ago. Robert's voice is barely audible. I was broke. I was in over $300,000 of debt. Victor offered me a way out. What kind of way out? He told me I could make money seducing wealthy women, marrying them, and stealing from them. And you agreed? Robert hangs his head. Yes. Why? Because it was easy. Because I was desperate. Because. Robert breaks down. Because I'm a coward. Amelia listens from her seat. She should feel satisfaction seeing him so broken. Instead, she feels pity, not for him, for the woman she was, the one who loved this man. Did you ever love Mrs. Miller? The prosecutor asks. Robert hesitates. At first, it was just the job. But then, she was different. She was kind, generous. I started to. To what, Mr. Miller? To feel something real. Robert looks at Amelia. But I never stopped stealing from her, that's the truth. I felt something, but not enough to stop. Amelia holds his gaze. There is no forgiveness in her eyes, only a final goodbye. Robert is the first to look away. Natalia testifies as a protected witness. She reveals her role as a recruiter. Victor hired me 8 years ago. My job was to infiltrate companies, identify vulnerable women, get financial information, prepare the ground. How many women did you identify? 18, in 8 years. And how many were successful targets? 15. What happened to the other 3? One became suspicious before we could act. Another didn't have enough liquid assets. The third. Natalia hesitates. The third discovered the plan and killed herself before the theft. The courtroom erupts. The judge calls for order. Amelia feels sick. A woman died just from discovering the truth. Did you feel remorse? The prosecutor asks. No. Natalia's brutal honesty is chilling. Not at first. Victor trained us to see the victims as targets, not people. He'd say, "They have more than they need. We're just redistributing wealth." And now? Natalia looks at the victims in the gallery. Now I do. But it's too late. The verdict comes down in the 28th week of the trial. Victor Thorne, 34 years in a federal supermax prison, no possibility of parole. Racketeering, aggravated financial fraud, money laundering, criminal conspiracy. Robert Miller, 12 years in prison, fraud, conspiracy, breach of trust. Natalia Vance, 5 years in prison, sentence reduced for cooperation, fraud, conspiracy. 11 additional accomplices received sentences between 8 and 22 years. In addition, financial restitution. Victor is ordered to pay $30 million to the victims. The rest of the money was never recovered. When the sentences are read, Amelia feels not triumph, but closure. Finally, closure. That night, Amelia is alone in her apartment. She didn't go to the celebration with the other victims. She couldn't. Her therapist told her this would happen. Revenge rarely brings the peace we expect. It brings justice, but it doesn't erase the pain. Amelia looks at old photographs, her wedding, her honeymoon, anniversaries. In every photo, Robert is smiling. She is, too. They look happy, in love. It was all a lie. But her pain was real. Her love was real. The fact that he didn't reciprocate doesn't make her feelings any less valid. She cries for the first time in months. Not for Robert. She cries for herself. For the 7 years she gave completely, for the ability to trust that she lost, for the naive woman she was and will never be again. Her phone buzzes. A text from Fernanda. Thank you for everything. For fighting when we couldn't. For not leaving us alone. Then Lucia. We'll be able to sleep tonight for the first time in years. Thank you, Beatrice. The charges against me were dropped. I'm finally free. Thank you, Paula. My sister can rest in peace. Thank you. Veronica, 6 years waiting for this day. It was worth it. Thank you. Amelia reads each message, wipes her tears. Maybe revenge didn't bring her personal peace, but it brought collective justice, and that has value. 2 weeks later, Amelia receives a letter. The return address is USP Florence Aid Max. It's from Victor. She hesitates, almost throws it away unopened. But curiosity wins. Mrs. Miller, I concede defeat. You were smarter, more persistent, more ruthless. I respect that. But I want you to know something. I didn't invent this system. I only perfected it. You think I'm the only one? There are dozens like me operating right now. Hundreds of men training to marry successful women, thousands of women who will be victims next year. You destroyed me. Congratulations. But the game goes on. The question is, are you going to spend the rest of your life hunting men like me, or are you going to rebuild the life I stole from you? Because if you choose the first, I've already won. I've turned you into what I am. Someone obsessed with destruction. Think about it. VT. Amelia reads the letter 3 times. Then she does something Victor would never expect. She smiles. She tears up the letter, throws it away, and walks out of her office. She goes down to the conference room where 23 women are waiting. New victims who have contacted the Asset Shield Foundation this week. Good afternoon, Amelia says. My name is Amelia Miller, and I'm here to help you. A woman in her mid-30s raises a hand timidly. Is it true? You caught the man who runs the network? Yes. How did you do it? Amelia sits down. I didn't do it alone. We did it together, and we're going to do the same for you. Another woman asks, how long does it take to recover? Amelia thinks, I don't know. I'm still in the process. But I promise you this, you will not be alone anymore. They work for 3 hours, reviewing cases, designing strategies, building hope. When they finish, Amelia is alone in the room, looking out the window. The city glows in the night. Her phone rings. Unknown number. she answers. Miller, Elena Carrillo speaking. I'm an entrepreneur from Chicago. I've been married 2 years, and 3 days ago I discovered strange transfers. I think my husband is stealing from me. Can you help me? Amelia closes her eyes, takes a deep breath. Victor was right about one thing. The game goes on. There will always be another fortune hunter, another victim, but now there's something else. There's an army of survivors, ready to fight. Yes, Elena, Amelia responds, her voice firm. I can help you. We're going to protect you, recover your money, and make sure that man faces consequences. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for existing. Amelia hangs up, looks at her reflection in the dark window. She's not the woman she was 2 years ago. That woman died. This woman is different. Harder, more cautious, with scars that will never fully heal, but also with an unbreakable purpose. Victor stole 7 years from her, but those 7 years taught her something invaluable. She is stronger than she ever imagined, and she is not finished. 18 months after Victor Thorne's sentencing, the trial has become legal precedent. Organized marriage fraud is now a specific federal crime with sentences of up to 40 years. 3 states have reformed their civil codes to protect assets in cases of fraudulent marriage. Robert Miller is serving the 2nd year of his 12-year sentence in a medium-security prison. His mental health is devastated. He spends most of his time in the psychiatric ward. He will likely never leave as the person he once was. Victor Thorne is at ADX Florence, a supermax prison with no possibility of parole. He is 62 years old. He will die in prison. Natalie Vance is serving her 3rd year. She works in the prison library. Her professional license was permanently revoked. When she gets out in 2 years, her criminal record will prevent her from ever working in finance again. The network was dismantled, 11 accomplices were jailed, an additional $42 million were recovered post-trial. Not all of it was recovered, it never is, but justice was served. The Asset Shield Foundation has grown into a national benchmark. It has offices in 6 states and 16 full-time employees. It has advised 247 women in 2 years, recovered $98 million, and brought 23 additional con men to justice. Amelia Miller is still the director, but she no longer handles cases directly. She hired a COO. She focuses on strategy, fundraising, and political lobbying. Aria Designs had its best fiscal year ever, $180 million in sales. Expansion into 3 additional countries, 340 employees. Amelia was named Entrepreneur of the Year by a business magazine. She declined the award. I didn't do this for recognition, she wrote in a public letter. I did it because there was no other choice. Emotionally, Amelia is still a work in progress. She goes to therapy twice a week. She's been on antidepressants for a year. She has frequent insomnia, occasional nightmares where Robert is standing by her bed, smiling, saying, "It was just business." Her therapist tells her that trauma doesn't disappear. It transforms, integrates, becomes part of who you are. Amelia hasn't been on a single date, not for lack of options. She receives invitations weekly and turns them all down. "Don't you want to fall in love again?" Laura asked her 3 months ago. "I don't know. Maybe someday. Maybe never." Amelia looked out her office window. "And that's okay. I don't need a man to be whole. I already am." Laura smiled. "Is that growth, or is that trauma?" "I'm not sure of the difference. It can be both." There are good days. Amelia laughs with her team. She celebrates the foundation's victories. She enjoys designing a new collection for Aria Designs. She allows herself moments of genuine happiness. There are bad days. She wakes up crying. She can't get out of bed. She sees couples on the street and feels a surge of panic. She triple-checks financial documents because she no longer trusts her own judgment. But the good days are slowly, gradually outnumbering the bad. That is progress. Fernanda Robles rebuilt her life. With a loan from the Asset Shield Foundation, she opened a small coffee shop in Los Angeles. It's not the empire she once had, but it's hers. Honest. Real. "I don't want to be rich anymore," she told Amelia. "I just want to sleep peacefully, and I do. Most nights, Lucia Campos is practicing as a freelance architect again. The lawsuits against her were dropped when she presented evidence of the fraud. She's rebuilding her reputation, one project at a time. Beatrice Maldonado avoided prison thanks to Amelia's testimony. She now works as a consultant for the foundation, helping other women identify the signs of fraud before it's too late. Paula Marquez moved to Canada. Too many painful memories in the States. Before she left, she visited her sister's grave. "We got him, Paula," she whispered. "We finally got him." Veronica Soto, under witness protection, changed her identity completely. She lives somewhere in North America, writing a book about her infiltration. Amelia receives occasional emails, always from different addresses, always signed, "The First Victim." One Thursday evening, Amelia is alone in her office. It's late. The building is empty. Just her and the sound of the city outside. On her desk are 3 framed photographs. The first, her grandmother teaching her to sew when she was 7. The photo is faded, but the love is visible. "My child," her grandmother used to say, "your hands can create or destroy. Choose wisely." Amelia chose both. She destroyed those who hurt her. She created something new from the ashes. The second, the day she opened her first store, 16 years ago. She's 23 in the photo. A huge smile, bright eyes, infinite hope. That woman no longer exists. She died the day she discovered the fraud. The third, a recent photo with the survivors from the group. All of them embracing, all smiling. Shared invisible scars, visible collective strength. This is her new family, born from pain, united by survival. There are no photos of Robert. They were destroyed over a year ago, along with the wedding dress, the invitations, everything that represented the lie. Amelia opens her laptop. She has 63 unread emails, most from the foundation. Women asking for help. She answers everyone personally. She never uses templates. "You are not alone. It was not your fault. You will get through this. It's the truth." She knows because she got through it, not unscathed. She came out changed, broken in some places, stronger in others, but she came out. Her phone rings, private number. For a second, her heart races. Panic? Robert? Victor? Another con man? She takes a deep breath, counts to 5, a technique from her therapist. She answers, "Mrs. Miller." "This is Mariana Ortiz. I'm a businesswoman in Miami. I just found out my fiancé lied to me about his debts. I found his profile on a forum about fortune hunters. I think he's one of them. I need help." Amelia closes her eyes. Another victim, another story, another heart about to break. "Mariana, breathe. You're doing the right thing by asking for help. Tell me everything, from the beginning." She listens for 40 minutes, takes notes, designs a strategy in her head. When the call ends, it's 1:01 p.m. She should be tired. She should want to go home, but she feels energized, purposeful. Victor wrote to her from prison, asking if she would dedicate her life to chasing men like him, as if it were a curse, a sick obsession. He didn't understand. It's not an obsession, it's a calling. Amelia looks out the window. New York City glitters. Millions of lights, millions of lives. Some happy, some broken, some about to break. In that moment, she knows something, she says to herself aloud. Victor took away my ability to trust blindly, but he gave me the ability to fight fiercely. She stands up, shuts down her computer, takes her purse. Tomorrow, there's a meeting with legislators. They're proposing a federal law requiring mandatory financial literacy education before marriage. Amelia will testify. The day after, a conference with 200 businesswomen. She'll speak about asset protection. The weekend, a group therapy session with 8 new survivors. Amelia will facilitate. Her life is not what it was. She doesn't just build her own empire anymore. She builds shields for other women, weapons to defend themselves, networks so they don't fall alone. She didn't choose this life chose her, but she accepts it, embraces it, lives it completely. Amelia Miller is not who she was 2 years ago. That naive woman who believed in fairy tales is gone. In her place is someone better, stronger, more real. She has scars. She will probably always have nightmares. She might never fall in love again. But she is alive, she is free, and she is fighting. And that is enough. She leaves her office. The lights switch off automatically behind her. She walks to the elevator. Her reflection in the metal doors looks back at her. She smiles. It's a new smile. Earned through pain, built with strength, real. "My name is Amelia Miller," she whispers to her reflection. "I survived. I got my revenge. I rebuilt. And I'm not finished." The elevator doors close. The city waits outside, with its dangers, its opportunities, its women who need protecting. Amelia is ready for all of them.